All right, welcome everyone to our review on our Artist of the Week for our quiz. We'll start with Katsushika Hokusai, which, if you remember, he was a funny little fellow, a Japanese artist who made woodblock prints. That's what he was most famous for, especially of this one, of the Great Wave, and we see Mount Fuji in the back. This comes from his series where he focused on Mount Fuji. And remember that a woodblock print is basically a stamp made out of wood. And in order to create a complicated print that you see here, multiple stamps are made and painted on and layered together so that we have this very complex print. Remember that you use different, you kind of have to plan ahead and create different stamps and blocks for the different colors. Remember that we take a look at the process of it, and the painter can start with a background and then print the stamp on top of it, and then afterwards they can go back and add little tiny details that you'll see in here. Okay, and again, Katsushika Hokusai, his most famous works were these ones that focused on Mount Fuji. And if you remember too, at the time in Asia, people were, sending things over to Europe, packages and stuff like that, things that needed to get wrapped up and needed to be safe. So they use these prints to wrap up the packages in as like extra padding in the packages. And then in Europe, people were taking these prints out and really, really enjoying them and actually getting really inspired by them. So that's like they enjoyed the packaging more than the item in the package itself. And remember that even Vincent van Gogh took inspiration from Katsushika Hokusai's work, and this wave looks a heck of a lot like that big wavy wind gust in Starry Night. And we have our little bullet points about our funny little artist and how he changed his name 30 times and he moved 93 times and he had to declare bankruptcy and stuff like that. But he's a great artist. Then we had Georgia O'Keeffe, who focused on, a big focus of hers was these huge paintings of flowers. They're slightly abstracted. She also did paintings of landscapes in New Mexico because she moved there and was inspired by what she saw, the mountains, the terrain, as you can see here, and the bones that she saw basically in the desert too. She decided to paint them and make them appear as beautiful because she saw them as beautiful. But the main thing, really, when people think of Georgia O'Keeffe, usually they think automatically those huge paintings of flowers. She's kind of classic. And what's really great about her is that the art industry was very male-dominated before, but she kind of paved the way for other women artists to become professional and have success and stuff. So she's a very courageous artist. I characterize her as courageous. All right, we have our bullet points about her there, but we pretty much already went over them. Then we had El Mac, a graffiti artist who's contemporary. He's still alive, and he does these huge murals. Okay, mural is a big painting on a wall where he features Hispanic people of his heritage and stuff that he connects to with these. He does usually their portrait in black and white, and then the backgrounds are usually more colorful. And his idea behind his work is really about praising, the everyday man. Kind of like Amy Sherrill does too, and even kind of Kehinde Wiley. And what's really cool is that this one here is in our home city over here, San Jose. And as you can see, this kind of tells you the magnitude of, his murals. And I mean, it's hard enough for us to draw something on a little piece of paper, let alone how could we draw that and paint that in on this huge building? So that really speaks to his expertise and talent as an artist. All right, and lastly, we had Chuck Close, who is kind of the artist that perseveres because he has gone through a lot in his life. He had face blindness and a learning disability. He couldn't recognize faces very easily. They sort of flattened out, and his teachers told him not to apply to college pretty much, which is not cool. But he made it big in art school and as an artist. And remember that he breaks things down square by square to make things easier for him. And that's basically become his style. He's really, really well known for it. And we took a look at him and how he's been able to overcome paralysis and stuff like that, and even still paint with these extra things that help